Imagine 24 million people of all ages and genders. Can you even picture a number that big? Now, imagine all of these people suffering from an eating disorder. According to the National Association of Anorexia and Other Associated Disorders, 24 million people are suffering in the US alone. It is very important to know the symptoms and causes of these disorders because you could help save someone's life someday. I personally do not suffer from an eating disorder, but I know people that have. Although they seem fine, they were just very good at hiding it. Could you imagine having a son or a daughter that had an eating disorder and you had absolutely no idea? I've done multiple reports on this topic, so I'm pretty familiar with it. Today I'm going to be telling you about the 3 main types of eating disorders, the symptoms and causes, and the negative effect that media has on these disorders. I'll begin by telling you about the 3 most common types. First is anorexia. It's characterized by a moderate food restriction and fear of gaining weight. A person with anorexia usually does not eat very much, and they're very thin. Even though they're very thin, they look at themselves and think they're a lot bigger than they are. Next is bulimia. Bulimia is binge eating and purging. In other words, a person eats a large amount of food and then makes himself throw up. This can be done by using laxatives, stimulants, diuretics, the list goes on. Lastly is binge eating, and this is a pattern of disordered eating. Usually a person will sit down and eat a huge amount of food in one sitting. After doing this, they feel guilty and upset, which can lead to depression. Next, let's look at the symptoms and causes of these disorders. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, there is not one particular cause, but many factors that can contribute. There are psychological factors, which are low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, stress, loneliness, and feelings of having no control over their life. There are interpersonal factors. This is difficulty expressing emotion, history of being abused, history of being bullied, and difficulty making relationships. Last are the social factors. This is a judgment from other people and the idea of the perfect body. Some symptoms. With anorexia, it's a refusal to eat and denial of hunger, intense fear of gaining weight, and excessive exercise. With bulimia, it's eating to the point of discomfort, and laxative use, always going to the bathroom during or after a meal, damaged teeth or gums, sores in the throat, and often dehydration. With binge eating, it's frequently eating large amounts and eating alone in a short amount of time, and it leads to feeling guilty after the meal and can often lead to depression. Now that you have some background, I'm going to tell you how media has a big impact on these eating disorders. According to the National Institute of Anorexia, 47% of girls in grades 5 through 12 said they wanted to lose weight because of a magazine picture. 69% of girls in the same age group stated that magazine picture has influenced their idea of the perfect body. Even younger girls in grades 1 through 3 reported that they would like to lose weight. The National Institute of Mental Health reported 81% of 10-year-olds are afraid of being fat. Media plays a very strong role in these disorders because girls and boys see what it's like in magazines and movies and how people are portrayed, and they think that they need to look like that. But in reality, only 5% of American women look like the women portrayed in magazines. There are no true way to be perfect. In conclusion, eating disorders, no matter what form, are life-threatening and very, very serious. It is crucial to know the signs and symptoms so you can help someone out someday. You now know the 3 most common types, the causes and symptoms, and the negative effect that media has on these disorders. It's been my pleasure talking to you today, and I hope you've learned something so that you can help someone out if they're ever in need. Thank you.